The story of black people begins not with chains but with crowns. Africa, the birthplace of humanity, was home to powerful kingdoms and empires. The pyramids of Egypt and Nubia, the ironwork of Kush, and the gold-rich empires of Ghana, Mali, and Songhai shaped world history. Timbuktu was a beacon of scholarship, attracting thinkers from across continents. African artistry flourished: Benin bronzes, intricate textiles, and the oral epics of griots. These were societies of innovation, governance, and deep culture. The continent's diversity and creativity were its greatest strengths. Black agency and achievement were central to the world's story. Before European arrival, Africa was a land of self-determination and thriving civilizations. To understand Black history, we must reclaim this legacy of kings, scholars, and innovators. This is not a forgotten past, it's a foundation for the future. The glory of Africa was deliberately erased, but it endures. It's time to remember and celebrate Africa's golden age. Then came the Great Rupture, the transatlantic slave trade. For over 4 centuries, millions were torn from Africa, forced into the horrors of the Middle Passage. Enslaved Africans endured unimaginable brutality, treated as property, families shattered by design. Their forced labor built the wealth of Europe and the Americas. The trauma of slavery left scars that echo through generations. Yet, resistance was constant, rebellions, escapes, and the preservation of culture in secret. The slave trade fueled racist ideologies that still shape our world. The unpaid labor of black people built cities and economies, while myths of inferiority justified oppression. The legacy of this crime is not just history, it's the root of today's inequalities. To understand our world, we must confront this past and its ongoing impact. Black people's resilience and resistance are central to this story. The fight for dignity began in the holds of slave ships and never ceased. The world's economic and racial systems were forged in this crucible. The story of the slave trade is a story of suffering, but also of survival. It is a history we must face to build a just future. The truth cannot be ignored. Emancipation brought hope, but true freedom was elusive. In the US, Reconstruction offered a glimpse of equality, but Jim Crow laws quickly enforced segregation and disenfranchisement. Violence and terror, from lynchings to the rise of the Ku Klux Klan, kept black people in fear. Yet, black communities built their own schools, churches, and businesses, spaces of resilience and progress. HBCUs nurtured generations of leaders and thinkers. Across the diaspora, colonialism and economic exploitation continued to limit freedom. Black people faced poverty and exclusion, but the dream of liberation endured. Resistance took root in every community, fueling future movements for justice. This era was defined by struggle, but also by the creation of new worlds within hostile societies. The fight for dignity and self-determination never stopped. The stage was set for the next great push for freedom. The civil rights movement was a turning point. Ordinary people demanding extraordinary change. Boycotts, sit-ins, and marches challenged segregation and voter suppression. Leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. inspired with visions of justice, while Malcolm X called for pride and self-determination. Activists faced violence, arrest, and even death, but their courage exposed the brutality of racism to the world. Televised images of peaceful protesters attacked by police shocked the nation and spurred action. Landmark victories followed: the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Legal segregation was broken, opening doors for future generations. The movement didn't end racism, but it transformed American society. The struggle for equality became a global inspiration. The sacrifices of this era reshaped the world's understanding of justice. The march toward freedom took a giant leap forward. The legacy of the movement endures in every fight for civil rights today. The dream lives on. Today, Black excellence shapes every field: politics, arts, sports, science, and beyond. From Barack Obama to Serena Williams, from Toni Morrison to Katherine Johnson, Black achievement is undeniable. Music, literature, and innovation born from the Black experience have transformed global culture. Yet systemic inequalities persist. Injustice in law, education, and health remains. The Black Lives Matter movement is a modern call for justice, echoing centuries of resistance. The fight is not over, but hope endures. Black history is a story of resilience, creativity, and unbreakable spirit. It is central to the human story, not a separate chapter. Honoring this legacy is essential for a just future. The journey from ancient kingdoms to today's struggles and triumphs continues. The world's future depends on remembering, celebrating, and building on this legacy.